My name is Paul Ryan, and today's episode is a mini pod, so it's short, sweet, but packed with value. Let's jump on in. Today, I want to share with you a very powerful technique that will enable to shift your perspective when you're dealing with a challenging situation. Now, I've shared this with many people who have found it enormously valuable, but it originated from a personal experience back in 2009, 2010, in the middle of the global financial crisis. So, if you remember the financial crisis, the global economy really went to shit. I have two businesses, and both are very closely linked to the construction industry, and construction was on its knees. So my businesses had fallen to less than 50% of their revenue. I also had investments in properties, and property values had collapsed. I had internal challenges within my business, which were compounding my difficulties, and I had investments in the stock market, and the stock market was crashing. So, all in all, I was in hot water. It's a very, very stressful time, and I found the stress just compounding, and I was in the sense of overwhelm and burnout, and I'm sure you've experienced it at some stage in your life. I knew my choice was to sink or swim, and I was going to swim. But first, I needed to shift perspective. I sat down one morning and took a blank sheet of paper, and on the top of it, I wrote a headline: 10 ways I love my business. Now, even writing that line was hard for me at the time. So, if my business was here, if hate was here, and love was here, I was way on down this road. I mean, I would have done anything to get out of it at that time, but I felt I was stuck there. So I wrote this title. It said 10 Reasons I Love My Business. And I forced my mind to dig deep and come up with 10 reasons I love my business. It was very challenging in the beginning because my mind just wanted to push all the negativity, all the problems I had. But one by one, ideas popped out. And then an idea popped into my head and said, well, the business has provided really well for your family and you love your family. Surely that's something to be grateful for. I thought, yeah, it has. And the business has provided this beautiful home you live in. Oh, I'm grateful for that. And the business has enabled you and your family to travel all over the world. Oh, yeah, I'm grateful for that. So, one by one, I began to find new ideas that I was genuinely and sincerely grateful for about my business. So, I had the list complete. And that evening, I went home stressed, burnt out as I was every evening, helped put the kids to bed, and then I ran a warm bath and I soaked into that bath and I became really relaxed. I pulled out my list and I started reading the 10 reasons I love my business. Now, I didn't just read them. I mean, as I read each line, if it was a family vacation, I began to visualize, have memories of the family vacation and talk about it in my mind and feel it in my heart and really engage fully emotionally in the experience of the holiday until I was back there and it felt wonderful. I thought, yeah, I'm so grateful for the business for enabling me to fund that holiday. And I thought about the beautiful home I lived in. And I went on all down the list. And each time visualizing what I was talking about and really getting into heartfelt gratitude. So it was an emotional experience. By the end of the session, I was beginning to feel good about my business. Of course, I went back in the next day and the problems remained, but day after day I went through this ritual and gradually it began to train my brain. So when I saw my business, sure, there were still challenges, but I began to be filled with appreciation and recognition for what this business had done for me, which didn't change the challenges I had at the moment. But my mind was shifting in a positive perspective, in a perspective of gratitude and appreciation. And because of that, I was now open to possibilities. How could I fix this? What could I do to make this better? And one by one, ideas came into my head. The shift in perspective was where it all started, which is why we call the show The Inner Entrepreneur, because change always happens inside first. Once you make that change, and that's what you have the power to change. You make that change internally, and then the world begins to shift, not because of magic, but because your mindset has changed. And when your mindset's changed, you see new opportunities and you're motivated to take new action and you persist in those actions because you fundamentally believe you can create a positive outcome. So the work still had to be done in my business and in my life to get things back on track. But I got everything back to where I wanted it. And in time, I really shifted my feelings of the business into, this business has been good to me and I'll be good to it in return. So when we're stuck in serious challenges, sometimes they loom so heavy on us that we just can't see the wood from the trees. And unfortunately, we become trapped in it like in a cage and we can see no way out. Before we can get out, we first have to see with our mind's eye, we have to see the possibility of getting out. So if you're stuck in a challenge at the moment, I would like you to sit down and write 10 reasons I love this challenge or 10 reasons I am learning and benefiting from this challenge. And really give yourself the task of coming up with 10 heartfelt reasons. And once you have those 10 heartfelt reasons, set aside some time every day. You don't have to soak in a bath, but find somewhere where you can get really, really relaxed, where you can close your eyes and you can really visualize these things you are really grateful for. You're beginning to rewire your brain as you do this. And as you rewire your brain will begin to see new opportunities. As I said, your life won't change instantly, but your perspective can change instantly. And once your perspective begins to change, your thinking, your actions, and your outcomes will change. This is a really powerful technique. It's difficult to start with, but it's very rewarding, impactful. I urge you to try it. You're going to love it. So if you got some benefit from this episode, please do like, share, comment, tell all your friends about it. It really helps the show to grow. Thank you for listening. Until next time.